When we look at a resume, we usually just see a list of jobs, right? But what if it's more than that? What if it's actually a blueprint for ambition? In this explainer, we're going to dig into the real documents behind one professional's CV. And trust me, they tell an incredible story of entrepreneurship, some surprising skills, and just relentless growth.
Okay, so let's start with a key milestone, this graduation certificate from 2022. It's a bachelor's in business administration. Now, this is the kind of formal qualification you'd expect to see, right? The academic foundation for a career in business. But, and this is the interesting part, the real foundation was being built long before this piece of paper was ever printed.
Because let's be honest, a career doesn't just magically start on graduation day. So seeing that degree from 2022, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where did this whole journey really kick off? Because the first chapter was written years earlier. And this quote right here, pulled straight from his CV, it gives us a massive clue. Listen to that language. That doesn't sound like some entry-level gig. That's the language of a founder. This one sentence sets the stage, telling us he's been in the driver's seat running his own show from the very beginning. So how did he get to that point? Let's rewind a little bit. We're going to explore how he forged this incredible foundation by mixing practical, on-the-job experience with his formal education. This timeline is really revealing. Check this out. His first professional job is way back in 2015. Then he dives into technical training in 2018. But here's the kicker. Look at 2021. He launches his first company a full year before he even finishes his business degree. He wasn't sitting around waiting for permission. He was out there getting real-world experience while he was still studying. And here's the proof of that early start. This is an actual experience certificate from Al Madar Al Jadid, a big telecom company. It documents his time in a call center from late 2015 to 2016. This is where he got his first taste of customer service and how a big corporation really works. And he didn't just stay put. He built on that foundation. A bit later, at another company, he was part of something huge, the relaunch of a major mobile operator's call center. You can see the progression so clearly here. It's a serious step up in responsibility. So, it seems like that early experience in communications really sparks something. Now we're going to see how that spark grew into a full-blown entrepreneurial fire, all about building new things from the ground up. Okay, so picture this. It's 2021, and he's still a university student. And what does he do? He makes this massive leap and founds his own company. And we're not talking about a small role here. The man was leading everything: business planning, sales, finding clients, operations, managing the team. He was basically doing it all. And right here, this is the proof. The official business license, dated August 2021. This document right here is what turns a line on a resume into a real operational business. This is the exact moment he officially went from being an employee to being a founder. And that entrepreneurial bug? It didn't stop there. He also created and launched a whole consumer brand from scratch called Car Logo Light. And we see the exact same pattern. He's totally hands-on, managing everything from developing the product itself to building the brand's entire identity. Of course, building a business is never just a straight line up. It's messy. So that brings up a pretty important question. What happens when one of your ventures runs into trouble, or the market just isn't right? Well, his CV tells us the answer. He jumped into another venture, this time in real estate. But he made the strategic call to pull back because he saw the market risks. Now, the key thing here is how he frames it. He doesn't see it as a failure. He sees it as a lesson that made him way better at assessing risk and managing relationships. So we've seen the businesses, but what about the skills that are actually powering all of this? This next section is where things get really fascinating. It shows this incredible commitment to learning new things, and some of them are pretty surprising. Okay, this skill portfolio is just wow. On the one hand, you have this certificate from 2018 in computer and network maintenance. That's nuts and bolts, hands-on hardware skills. And then, on the other hand, a certificate in digital marketing. That combination of old-school tech knowledge and modern strategy, that's really powerful. And then the portfolio just takes this wild, creative turn. In 2022, the same year he's finishing his business degree, he also gets certified as a barista and earns a diploma in interior design. I mean, come on. That tells you something deeper is going on here, a real passion for aesthetics and the customer experience that you just don't see on a typical business resume. And the diversity just keeps on coming. Back in 2018, he's training in the fundamentals of debate, a skill all about structured arguments. Then, fast forward to 2022, and he's learning how to make crepes and juice. You gotta love that range. From formal rhetoric to practical hospitality, it just shows a genuine deep curiosity about, well, everything.
So how do we pull all these different threads together? You've got the entrepreneur, the student, the tech guy, the barista. Our final section is all about putting these pieces together to see the complete professional that emerges. This table just brings it all home, doesn't it? You can draw a straight line from every single one of his ventures to the core skills he was building. Founding the company, that's management and sales. Creating the brand, that's product development and marketing. That real estate attempt, risk assessment. And those early call center jobs, that's the bedrock of his communication skills. See, it all connects. Nothing was wasted. So when we take a step back, what's the big picture here? Well, first, we see a professional who has proven he can build a business from just an idea into a real thing. Second, he has an incredibly diverse skill set. We're talking technical, creative, and strategic. Third, he's shown that he can navigate challenges and turn them into valuable lessons. And it's all built on this awesome dual foundation of real-world experience and a formal education. And all of this just leaves us with one final big question. When you see this kind of entrepreneurial drive, this commitment to learning, and this amazing blend of experiences, you just have to wonder, for a professional like this, what comes next? Because this profile makes one thing crystal clear. This story is far from over.